doing a lot of writing roadmaps or game plans, whatever you kind of call them. And some things that I noticed that have helped students are numbering them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because we have started to implement this like today's goal. So right here, we've got a today's goal. The student's goal is to get to box 7 or circle, square, whatever, 7. So students have to complete all these different tasks to make sure that they're on pace to reach step number 7. Once they're at step number 7, then they have reached and they are on pace. It is okay for students to get ahead of pace, but students must get to that step 7. Another thing that we were realizing is based on formative assessment, we might have needed to add some clarification into the lesson or a mini lesson. So these two boxes kind of support that. So right here we have a mini lesson. So students will be learning about restating, and this is every single student. But you could do small group lesson too, and you could set students up in kind of a station rotation where you would tell them, hey, there's no teacher check-ins today. If you get to that point and you feel good, keep going or work on these can-do activities. And so you could set up a mini lesson or again, station rotation and have 4 different types of stations that are covering mini lessons, or spend the first 10 to 15 minutes on a quick mini lesson on something that students are struggling. So, for example, students really struggled with this topic right here, rewriting the topic sentence. So what I can do is I can say topic sentence. Every single student were struggling with this, so I'm just going to do a quick mini lesson, 10 minutes. Now, if my students have mastered it, some of them and about half of them haven't, I could do 2 lessons. So I could do topic sentence and I could do like a putting it all together. Again, I can provide that resource for my students. Some of the things that we realize is once you make a roadmap and push it out, it's hard to like edit and make some of those corrections in Google Classroom. And so right here we have a prompt. So we forgot the prompt and that we realized that students needed that clarity. And so right here with clarification, you're able to provide that prompt for students. So based on the passage, students need to write a multi-paragraph response that explains how the big bad wolf blew the house down. Now that they know that prompt, they're able to go ahead and they are able to complete this task of rewriting the topic sentence. You can see I put 9, and then I also put 9 right here to provide students clarification. Also right here, I might be able to provide them a video. So let's say number 10, they're struggling with getting into Edulastic, and I have a lot of students that need that clarification. I can then say box 10, you need to watch the video. And I can create a quick screencastify video to provide that additional clarification for my students. Another thing that I might want to consider is maybe at a certain point, I can again add additional resources or something like that. This resource right here has multiple questions for students to complete. So there's like 5, but I only need my students to do 2 of them. So again, I can look at what step this is. This is step number 5. And I can just create another bubble. And I can say like 5. Complete 2 out of the 5 questions, and if you need to and then if they need to complete more, I would tell them that at the teacher check-in. So again, kind of quickly going over this with my students can just provide that extra clarity that they might need when they are completing their writing roadmap. And again, it's just because on Google Classroom, you can't kind of make those clarifications that you really want to in the moment, or you realize that students are struggling because you push this out before you work it with the students. So again, using that formative feedback is good, but sometimes there is a barrier with Google Classroom where you can't update anything. So maybe starting off the class like this, and I could maybe even put like the date over here. So if I just kind of maybe copy this, I can put like the date, and then I could just kind of share this in my Google Classroom or learning management system. And every day I just duplicate this, and then my students have like a running record of what we've covered. And then I can change the date and say, okay, they don't need 5 anymore. Every single student's done with that. I can update the can-do list. I can update the goal. So instead of 7, the students need to do 8, or maybe let's get them to 10 today. They no longer need a topic sentence. I'm just going to say teacher check-ins as needed because they're rocking and rolling. And again, I can go in and provide additional clarity if I needed to. I can do that by video and have my students watch that before they begin that activity if they are not there yet. Um, and then I can add stuff to my can-do list as well. So again, just every day I might have this running record and I would share as can view for students. So that way I can update as needed and then they can click these different links to access the material. And if they're absent or they got pulled from my class that day, they still have resources to that information. This daily goal setting and reflections can be helpful as well. So right here, I've got the date, and I found this from Teach Better Teams. They had it in one of their resources. And what I love about it is it talks about students warming up, what they plan to accomplish for the day, if they met their goal or not, what happened at the end of class today, and then if they did not meet their goal, what's their plan? Are they going to do it for homework? Are they going to come in during lunch? Are they going to work on it during E&I time? What is their plan if they did not reach that target number of 7 or 10? Once they do that, are they behind pace? Are they on track? Or are they ahead? So this way students are checking in with where they're at. And then they're able to circle what their understanding of the material. I've got it, or maybe I'm struggling. And then they can write any struggles that they have. And you can use this even to place your mini lesson or station rotation, depending on what's needed for the day. Then you're able to kind of set a next class goal. And then one thing that went well. And then if the students took a break, how long their break was. And then when did they take their break? Was it the middle of class, the end of class, the beginning? And again, this just kind of helps students think about what they're doing. I've seen teachers create like a Google form for this, and students just quickly fill this out at the beginning and end of class. Or you could just print this out and have students quickly write on it, and you're able to keep track. I have multiple versions of this, so you can cut it if you're interested in that. But again, it can just be a great way to quickly assess where your students are at. Another thing that you might want to consider, this is called a scrum board. And what students do, this is in Pear Deck. So you would start the student version of Pear Deck. And once you do that, students are able to drag this red dot to where they are. And so this will allow you to know, okay, majority of students finish this part of the roadmap. This student is working on this. So again, you're able to kind of get a quick view of where students are. You can put the roadmap in here and just add Pear Deck to it to get a quick check-in on where students are. Or you can change whatever. I'm working on my introduction. You could say I'm at box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, box 5, box 6. Maybe they need a mini lesson on whatever the topic is. They may need a mini lesson on something else. They need a teacher's check. You're able to organize this, and then maybe you can set up your seating chart to show where students are at. And if they need a teacher's check or a mini lesson, you're able to quickly conference with those students as well. So I think having this goal, today's goal, will kind of help with any clarification that we need to add or anything like that. And again, I would just put this in your Google Classroom. Every single student can view, and then you're able to use this as a resource.